Oh, sheets! Sheets! 3.1.9. I don't want to be excited, okay? I'm trying my best not to be excited, but I have to say that the update looks super good. It looks freaking good. So deliciously good. Like 3.1.9 is basically just reversing a lot of the bad stuff that 3.1.7 unleashed upon the player base. So, we're going to start off with the Espers as usual, and then we're going to move on to the rest of the content. So, starting with the brand new Espers, this is Changji. Yeah, a lot of you guys said that all they did is just remove the alphabet E. I don't know why they need to name the Esper so identically, right? Is that even a word? I don't know. Anyway, Changji is a support Esper who controls HP and AP of both allies and enemies. So his first ability, Word Launch, attacks an enemy with extra true damage based on the elemental class. I believe this only affects enemies with a weaker elemental class or equal, I'm not sure. Inflicting disease as well. So this is the part where he becomes relevant for APEP. The rest of his kit unfortunately don't look like he matters so much for APEP for some reason. Anyway, this is his second ability. Attacks all enemies and has a chance of inflicting stun. Then if an enemy is not stunned, it has a chance of reducing their AP. So this is obviously going to work for APEP, right? You can reduce the AP but you cannot stun the boss. So his third ability, Cosmos Writing, selects an ally and triggers the mirror effect. Raises the ally's HP percentage to the level of the enemy with the highest HP percentage. And after Ascension, you also mirror the enemy's AP as well. So I hope that if all the enemies have max HP, then they'll prioritize whoever has the highest AP. I think that is probably needed as well. Now, meanwhile, it attacks all enemies, and the greater the enemy's max HP, the higher the damage. So it does a lot of, I assume, max HP scaling damage, which could be good for APEP, but where he really evolves is obviously his R2. Let's get to that. So phase 2. Cosmos Writing, which is third skill. Mirroring HP percentages are changed to swapping HP percentages, and the same goes for AP as well. So if the enemy has a lot of HP, a lot of AP, and maybe your ally has like none of both, it's gonna be reversed entirely. So sounds very familiar, right? Like some Dota character, I remember. But that's the idea behind this Esper, and it could be pretty useful, I think, in maybe RTA. Maybe when you are actually manually controlling this Esper, that makes a lot of sense, right? But do take note that it doesn't affect bosses, which means it's probably not that viable in tower content. Maybe. But this is a big part. Look at phase 6, his R6, right? Now, before swapping AP, you then raise the AP of all allies to the level of the non-boss enemy with the highest AP. Basically, it's just the same thing, but what happens is that right now, not only are you swapping the HP and AP of your target ally, you are also granting the rest of your allies who are below that AP the same amount of AP growth, or rather the same amount of AP afterwards. So your entire team is going to be risen up to the same amount of AP, just that one ally that you selected will have his HP swapped with the enemy. So that's how his R6 works. So you can obtain him from the Echo after this update, and here comes Daniel, who is a 4-star Inferno Attune, who is just the horseman, right? So he's a controller with support abilities, and guess what? You can obtain him via the championship, so we will have a rerun of the championship. Pretty cool, I think, but I'd like to see whether are there any changes to the championship, because the previous round was just completely pay to win. Completely nonsense, right? So his first ability, Courage Shot, deals damage to one enemy based on his max HP and has a chance of inflicting silence. Now upon successful infliction, gains recovery. So the way you want to build him is to have a lot of HP, and that is explained in his second and third skills as well. So his second ability, consumes HP to grant all allies shield and attack up. Pretty interesting, I guess. I mean, it's kind of like a unique combination of buffs. And now his third skill, Meteor Flurry, consumes HP to deal damage equal to a percentage of his HP, reducing enemy AP as well. After Ascension, it also inflicts stun. So he's not gonna be that good for APEP, I don't think so, because much of his kit doesn't really work. Or rather, his second ability is fine, but I don't like the fact that he consumes his own HP and he has no way to recover it unless you build him with Hades and somehow his HP scaling is so good, then he might actually become a pretty decent bruising Esper, I think. But the main resonance for him is going to be R6, so when he uses his second skill, which is his buffing ability, he actually gains 1 turn, which improves his cycling. So not bad, I think not bad. Now let's move on to the new features. So they have added the ritual points and the ritual shop. So essentially, ritual points can be redeemed for experiment elemental waves and other growth materials, and you get the ritual points by doing ritual miracles, obviously. So we'll only know more when I have access to the PTR server with the brand new update, which I think might be tomorrow. And we can skip the rest, and now moving on to events. So here comes the championship. So there will be the same 3 sub-events. There will be the relic event, which is basically farming relics gives you points. And there is a relic enhancement event, which is basically the gold sync, and I might not recommend you guys to participate in this again. And point war. So it's basically the same thing, but who the hell wants to do point war nowadays, right? But there is one big change to the point war, and I'll definitely talk about it towards the end of this video. So it's not mentioned here whether are they going to improve the reward system. Are they going to give more legendary ability mons to more players or not? Or is it just going to be like the top 3 players? Super freaking toxic. I hope it's not like before. And then now we have the Divine Support again. If you're not sure what this is, basically the voting thing, and essentially what you must do is that whatever Esper that I suggest, go against it, right? Go against my opinion, because the Esper that I vote for is going to be shit, just like the Fatum Sisters. And now we have the warm-up match again, which is essentially an RTA 5v5 format, or rather pick 5 ban 1. But the thing is, the pick 5 ban 1 only happens from Platinum onwards, and I think they actually shifted it a bit, because I think previously Platinum was still 4v4, I'm not sure. But anyway, if you acquire Master, you will be able to claim the skin, Pritzker's Enlightened Seeker skin. Now next up we have the Valentine's Day event, which is Passions and Ideal. So essentially you just need to farm certain locations to get this thing called the Date Invite. So clear Sonic Rift, Sonic Miracle, Ritual Miracle, Sonic Miracle, Desolate Lands, Story Stages, and other basically you just have standard PvE content to get date invites, and collect sufficient date invites to play bingo games for rewards. Imagine getting so many date invites just to invite them to play bingo games, what the heck. But anyway, this is our opportunity to get a limited edition Chloe Heartthrob skin. That is crazy. She is really going to be free to play. I wonder just how free to play it is though. Do you need to spend a lot of stamina? Because that is probably the only limiting factor, which means that essentially when this event drops, along with the wait, hold on, when does the championship actually start? Oh, okay, so the championship starts on the 7th of February, but if you take a look at the Valentine's Day event, it starts on the 10th of February, which means that it's a good idea to spam a lot of your stamina packs when the Valentine's Day event actually comes around, so that not only do you benefit from the Valentine's Day event, you also benefit a little bit from the championship as well. Basically just a relic farming stage. So here are some adjustments and optimizations. This part, super cool. Added the wish pool. Wait, what? Don't we already have the wish pool? Yeah, okay, so the previous wish pool, which is whatever that we have right now, will now be called the resonance pool, as you can see over here, right? So it's gonna be called the resonance pool, which is essentially what it was. But now players can spend 100 wish stones in the wish pool to draw an unknown Esper from a limited range. So I'm not sure what this limit is, but it says that the wish pool selectable Espers will unlock in 2 different stages. So stage 1 will unlock when the player owns 70 wish stones, and stage 2 will unlock when the player owns 10 legendary Espers. I'm not actually sure what this is about. But do take note that the wish pool, once you use it one time, it will go dormant for 60 days. So you can only use it once every 60 days, but this is the best chance for you to obtain an Esper that you do not even have. This is extremely insane, mind-blowing. But the thing is, you're not going to be able to obtain any Shimmer legendaries because, as you can see here, limited Inferno, Wind Flow attuned legendary Espers, and Shimmer attuned epic Espers. So for me, this has no value to me whatsoever. Now next up, bounty optimizations, which I talked about in the previous video. So added a bounty assess level, which blah blah blah. Okay, so essentially, just to keep the story short, we will understand a little bit more when this actually drops. I think it's better to talk about this when the bounties actually appear in the PTR server so that I can discuss a little bit more about what it looks like. But from what I can understand, it is still going to be quite generous, it's still going to be quite giving, and the reason for that is because there is an added weekly chest rewards, which is players will get a chest based on the number of bounty missions they complete each week, and the chest contains records, Nexus Crystals, gold, and other rewards as well. So I don't think most players actually got a single copy of a gold record every single week if they did their bounties. It's probably not so common, right? But now it's going to be more common because there is a guarantee involved in this weekly chest reward, which is really good. I like this a lot. So this change, a lot of you guys were worried about it. I don't think there is much for you to worry right now. So Sonic Miracle is going to have a slight HP nerf, which is good. And now Ritual Miracle changes. So reduce the difficulty of some of the floors, basically 7 to 14, and I think they're going to reduce the difficulty of 15 and 16 as well, which is, I think this part, reduce the boss resist and HP in just like general stages, but it's just more obvious in stages 7 to 14. And as for this part, reduce the probability of stunning Miramon and bosses in a Chrono stage. I feel like this is a wording issue. It should be reduce the probability of Miramon and bosses in a Chrono stage to stun. I think that's what it is, because you can't stun Chronos. So this shouldn't be a nerf to the players. And of course, they reduce the percentage of AP increased at the end of enemy turns in 12th floor to 15th floor. So the 16th floor is actually not gonna receive this, but don't worry too much about it. While it's still gonna be difficult, there are some boosts to the 16th floor as well. And this is the part, adjusted Ritual Miracle drops. The level range of relics drop in Ritual Miracle 12th floor will be changed from level 40 to 60 to level 50 to 60. And increase the drop rate of level 60 relics in the Ritual Miracle on difficulty 12 to 15 as well. Really nice. But this is the part, battle in 16th floor now drops 2 level 60 relics every single time. We will no longer get 1 single copy of a relic for every single run that we do. So I'm actually gonna stop farming right now, because I think right now the double drop happens every like 90% of the time or something like that. But I definitely want my 100% rate. So Sonic Rift changes, dude, this part, you guys should be stoked. Reduce stamina required to clear a Sonic Rift, that's a plus. XP gain efficiently improved, that's another plus. This could be linked to the stamina requirement, but that's not all, because over here at the gold acquisition optimization, added gold dropped from the Sonic Rift. 3 pluses for us. So now the Sonic Rift is probably going to be what it were in the past, hopefully. I mean, at this point, we're just grabbing at straws right now, so hopefully the change matters a lot, and hopefully this allows players to be happy and just move on with their life and just continue where we left off. But I'm super happy, okay? I'm super happy that they decided to re-include gold back into the Sonic Rift. And not only that, right? They also increased the selling price of enhanced relics, which means that this might benefit you a little bit if you're trying to farm a lot in the relic enhancement championship. So if you're going to use some strategy, which I'll talk about, okay? I'll discuss all the strategies because I probably will not participate in it, especially if I'll be competing with some of the global whales. There is no chance. There is no chance I'll compete at all. But I'll talk a little bit more about some of the strategies that people did in the past. And then increase gold amount in some quest chests, which is your daily quest. So at 40 points, you now gain another 30,000 gold, and at 80 points, you gain another 50,000. So it's like 80,000 total gold per day. Now, Calamity Island is going to have some buffs, so increase enemies' HP for some of the floors, but there are some nerfs as well. So reduce the number of enemies with advantage elemental class for some stages. So if you are in a floor type stage, there will be wind type espers for some reason, but those wind type espers would be reduced in general, I think. Now, point war optimizations, dude, oh my god. So Matera, you'll be super happy about this. So the first part, HP bonus in the point war has been changed from increasing a fixed amount of percentage, which is 35% across all tiers, to now being based on the tier that you're at. So if you're at a lower tier, I think the HP increase is probably less, I think. But meanwhile, HP bonuses has been reduced for PvP modes, which I think includes point war 16, 17 and 18 as well, which means that we probably wouldn't expect a 35% HP boost right now. It's probably going to go down. Hopefully it goes down to at most 20%, but I will definitely still test this out. But I really do hope that 20% is the limit because that is still a huge amount. Now another thing over here, so in the online union shop, so now in the cube shop, you can actually buy the Black Twin Ripples. Insane, dude. For 300 cube points, you can buy 5 copies of the Ripples. So right now you can farm both the Black Twin and the White Twin from the cube shop. Very nice. It's going to be super easy for you to get the Team White speed buff and the Team White crit rate buff. I love this a lot. This is so good for free-to-play players. And they have also reduced the price of Fabrice because, yeah, I think 500 points this was such a scam, dude. It's so unfair. Now, another bit about the rate optimizations, which is the memo chips part. I'm not sure why they still call it the rate. So reduced memo chips required for Sonic Rift, Sonic Miracle, and Ritual Miracles as well. And of course, a lot of you guys asked for this, so added a 10 spin to the Elemental records. Very nice. I am actually saving up a bit of my Elemental records right now just so that I can do 10 times. But unfortunately, there is still no PT involved, which I guess it is kind of part of the whole thing, right? It's supposed to segregate itself from the Go records, but it kind of loses a lot of value because Go records are just so good right now. Now this part, I'm not sure what this is about, but I'm very excited to find out. So optimize the performance of shed damage for espers linked by Q, basically. So I'm not sure, does it mean that his AI is going to be greatly improved? What exactly does this mean? I'm not sure. Leave your comments down below to let me know. But anyway, that's about it, right? So there is a pack adjustment, which I'm not going to talk about, and that's basically it for 3.1.9. So there is quite a bit of things to do, but it's not like a massive event, right? The bulk of the events is just basically doing the same thing that you're always doing, farming your Ritual Miracles, farming your Sonic Rift, farming whatever, right? But at the same time, they're just going to give you more rewards by just playing the game. So the free Chloe skin, I think this is a really good way for you to get players to log in and spend time in the game. I think this is a really, really good move. This slide, we have come a long way, more than a year. And I must say that I approve of this update. This update has been really, really good. I like everything that I saw in this entire patch notes. But obviously, there are still some things that I need to test out when the game actually releases. So like, for example, I need to test out some of the difficulties in the Chronos, for example. Although difficulty-wise, it should be toned down a little bit. But I still like to see by how much, because I'm sure there are a lot of people who are complaining that things are super difficult. They can't even clear 14th floor in order to participate in the Desolate Lands. So I hope that right now, more players are able to at least clear the 14th difficulty of all of the Ritual Miracles, right? I think that's the most important thing. But yeah, anyway, that's it for this video. Let me know your thoughts and your comments down below. If you enjoyed today's content, don't forget to leave a thumbs up. It really helps the channel, and subscribe for more dislike content. Now with that said, this has been Derek Free to Play, and as always, I will see you in the next video. Very, very nice.